Elephants are among the most fascinating and majestic animals on Earth, characterized by their massive size, distinctive trunks, and deep intelligence. Their trunks are powerful and versatile, functioning as both a nose and a hand, capable of performing delicate tasks such as picking up a single blade of grass or exerting enough force to uproot a small tree. Their large fan-like ears help regulate body temperature and signal moods or warnings. With thick, wrinkled skin that acts as a protective barrier and tusks made of ivory, elephants have developed physical adaptations over thousands of years that enable them to survive in a range of environments from savannas to forests. These majestic giants can weigh up to 6,000 kilograms and grow as tall as 3.3 meters at the shoulder. Despite their bulk, elephants can walk silently due to the cushion-like structures in their feet. Their remarkable memory and social complexity make them one of the most intelligent species on the planet, and they have been known to display emotions such as joy, grief, and empathy. The elephant's life is deeply interwoven with its herd, and the social bonds they form are lasting and significant. They are also a keystone species, shaping their ecosystem by uprooting trees, digging water holes, and creating paths used by other animals. This interdependency makes elephants not only fascinating creatures, but also critical to maintaining biodiversity. Unfortunately, elephants face severe threats from poaching, habitat loss, and human-wildlife conflict, which has led to significant population declines. Conservation efforts worldwide are focused on protecting their habitats, enforcing anti-poaching laws, and educating communities about the importance of elephants in our ecosystem. Through understanding and respect, humanity can ensure the survival and prosperity of these extraordinary beings, securing their place in the natural world for generations to come. There are three main species of elephants: the African savanna elephant, the African forest elephant, and the Asian elephant. The African savanna elephant is the largest land animal on Earth, distinguished by its enormous ears that resemble the continent of Africa and its large, curved tusks. The African forest elephant is smaller, with straighter tusks and more rounded ears, adapted to life in dense forests. The Asian elephant is smaller overall and has smaller ears, with many females lacking visible tusks altogether. Each species has unique adaptations that allow it to thrive in its specific habitat. Elephants are found in a wide range of environments, including grasslands, savannas, rainforests, marshes, and even desert fringes. African elephants roam through over 37 countries, while Asian elephants are found in 13 countries across South and Southeast Asia. These giants require large territories for feeding, breeding, and migrating, and their movements are often dictated by seasonal availability of food and water. Elephants also contribute significantly to the health of their habitats. In forests, they act as seed dispersers, spreading plant species by consuming fruits and excreting the seeds over long distances. In savannas, they prevent overgrowth by uprooting shrubs and trees, thereby maintaining open grasslands that support other herbivores. Their ability to create water holes by digging in dry riverbeds not only helps them survive droughts, but also provides resources for numerous other species. The destruction of elephant habitats through agriculture, logging, and human settlement has severely limited their range and disrupted their migratory paths. Conservationists and researchers are working to establish wildlife corridors to reconnect fragmented habitats, allowing elephants to move freely and safely between protected areas. Elephants are widely regarded as one of the most intelligent animals on the planet. They have large brains, particularly in the temporal lobes associated with memory and emotion, which enables them to process complex thoughts, plan ahead, and experience deep feelings. They exhibit behaviors such as mourning their dead, celebrating births, and showing signs of empathy and cooperation. Studies have documented elephants returning to the bones of deceased family members, gently touching the skulls and tusks with their trunks, as if in remembrance. They communicate through a rich combination of vocalizations, gestures, and low-frequency infrasound that can travel several kilometers. These vocalizations can signal danger, call out to distant herds, or coordinate group movements. Elephants also rely heavily on their sense of smell and touch, using their trunks to explore their environment and interact socially. Calves are nurtured not only by their mothers but by allomothers, female relatives that assist in care and protection, forming a tight-knit social fabric. The matriarch, typically the oldest and most experienced female, leads the herd, using her memory of watering holes and seasonal routes to guide the group. Male elephants, upon reaching adolescence, usually leave the herd and either live alone or form small bachelor groups, interacting with females mainly during mating. Elephants can recognize themselves in mirrors, a rare trait that indicates self-awareness. Their problem-solving abilities, use of tools, and capacity for long-term planning underscore their cognitive sophistication. In captivity in the wild, elephants have been observed manipulating objects to achieve specific outcomes, such as using branches to swat flies or plugging water holes with mud to preserve resources for later use. Their emotional depth and intelligence are part of what makes elephants such beloved and respected animals around the world. Elephants are a keystone species, meaning they play a critical ecological role that affects the entire structure of their environment. In savannas, their feeding habits help maintain grasslands by preventing the encroachment of trees and shrubs, which in turn supports grazing species like zebras and wildebeest. In forests, elephants disperse seeds from the fruits they consume, facilitating plant regeneration and biodiversity. Some tree species depend almost entirely on elephants for their propagation. By digging water holes in dry regions, elephants provide essential resources not only for themselves, but also for a host of other animals, including birds, antelope, and predators. Their trails, created over generations, often become permanent migration routes for various species. Beyond ecology, elephants have held cultural and religious significance for thousands of years. In Hinduism, the elephant-headed god Ganesha symbolizes wisdom, prosperity, and the removal of obstacles. In Buddhism, the white elephant is associated with spiritual strength and purity. In Africa, elephants are revered in folklore and symbolism, representing strength, leadership, and family unity. Across Asia, elephants are integral to temple festivals and ceremonies, often adorned with colorful fabrics and ornaments. Unfortunately, their symbolic importance has also made them targets for exploitation, such as in tourism and performance industries, where mistreatment is common. Nonetheless, awareness and ethical wildlife tourism practices are growing, promoting respect for elephants in their natural habitats. Conservation organizations are working with local communities to promote coexistence and sustainable livelihoods that protect elephants. Cultural reverence, when harnessed responsibly, can be a powerful force in conservation, uniting traditional values with modern science to ensure elephants continue to thrive both in the wild and in our collective imagination. Despite their iconic status, elephants face an array of serious threats that have caused drastic population declines. The most significant threat is poaching for ivory, which has devastated elephant numbers, especially in parts of Africa. Although international trade in ivory has been banned, black markets persist due to high demand in some countries. Poachers often use brutal methods, killing entire families and leaving calves orphaned. Habitat loss due to human expansion, agriculture, and infrastructure development has fragmented elephant ranges, isolating populations and reducing genetic diversity. This loss also increases human-elephant conflict, where elephants raid crops or damage property, leading to retaliatory killings. Climate change exacerbates these problems by altering rainfall patterns, drying up water sources, and affecting food availability. In response, numerous conservation efforts are underway globally. Protected areas and national parks serve as sanctuaries for elephants, while wildlife corridors help connect these habitats. Anti-poaching patrols, surveillance technology like drones and GPS collars, and stricter law enforcement have begun to make an impact in some regions. International agreements like CITES have helped curb the ivory trade, but enforcement remains uneven. Conservationists are also engaging local communities through education, ecotourism, and community-based monitoring programs, empowering them to become stewards of elephant protection. Translocation projects have moved elephants from overpopulated or dangerous areas to safer habitats to stabilize numbers. Awareness campaigns aim to reduce demand for ivory and highlight the importance of elephants to global biodiversity. The success of these initiatives depends on sustained international cooperation, funding, and political will. While the road ahead is challenging, the collective efforts of governments, NGOs, scientists and citizens provide hope that elephants will continue to roam the earth in strength and dignity, a living symbol of nature's grandeur and resilience. Elephants have one of the most complex and deeply bonded reproductive and family systems in the animal kingdom. The gestation period of a female elephant is the longest of any land mammal, lasting about 22 months. This extended pregnancy allows the calf's large brain to develop properly, which is essential for the complex behaviors and social intelligence elephants display throughout their lives. Typically, a female elephant gives birth to a single calf, though twins can occasionally occur. When the calf is born, already weighing around 100 kilograms, it is immediately surrounded by a protective circle of females from the herd. The bond between a mother and her calf is incredibly strong. The mother nurses her calf for up to 2 years, and even after that, the calf usually stays close to her for many more years, often a decade or longer. During this period, the young elephant learns critical life lessons: how to find food, how to interact socially, and how to navigate the world. All of this happens under the guidance of not just the mother, but also the older females of the herd. The elephant herd is matriarchal. It is led by the oldest and most experienced female, who serves as the leader and decision-maker of the group. She guides the herd toward water and food, keeps an eye out for danger, and helps maintain harmony among the group. Other females in the herd, often related, like aunts or older siblings, also take care of the young ones. They act as allomothers, helping raise the calves and increasing their chances of survival. On the other hand, male elephants leave the herd when they become teenagers, usually around 12 to 15 years old. After that, they either live alone or join small groups of other males. In these bachelor groups, young bulls learn social cues and form hierarchies through playful wrestling or sparring. Mating happens when a female is into estrus. She signals her readiness through sounds and scents that attract males from far away. During this time, dominant males enter a state called musth, where their testosterone levels rise dramatically. They become more aggressive and driven by the desire to find a mate. A male in musth may travel long distances and fight with rival males to win the right to mate. But even after mating, elephants do not reproduce quickly. Females usually give birth only once every 4 to 6 years. This slow reproductive cycle makes elephant populations especially vulnerable to threats like habitat destruction or poaching. Even small losses in numbers can have a long-lasting impact. That's why it's so important to protect elephant families. Disrupting these bonds not only causes emotional trauma, but also creates behavioral problems in calves and weakens the herd's ability to survive. Elephants are massive herbivores, and they need a lot of food every day, anywhere from 150 to 300 kilograms of vegetation. Their menu is diverse and includes grasses, leaves, fruits, tree bark, roots, flowers, and bamboo. African elephants are more versatile, grazing during rainy seasons and browsing during dry ones, while Asian elephants, living in dense forests, prefer bark and leaves. Since elephants don't have upper front teeth, they rely on their strong trunks and tusks to strip leaves and tear bark. Inside their mouths, they have enormous molars, each the size of a brick, that grind their food. These molars wear down with use and are replaced about 6 times during their life. Once the last set wears out, usually after about 60 years, an elephant can no longer chew properly, and sadly this can lead to starvation. Their eating habits shape the very landscape they live in. By knocking down trees or stripping bark, elephants keep forests from becoming overgrown. This benefits many other animals who live in the open spaces elephants create. Even their dung plays a critical role. It not only fertilizes the soil but also spreads seeds. Some seeds can only germinate after passing through an elephant's digestive system. Trees like baobabs and acacias in Africa depend heavily on elephants to reproduce. Elephants also make trails as they move through thick forests, paths that other animals later use. Finding enough food and water takes up most of an elephant's day, up to 16 hours, so they're constantly on the move, often migrating with the seasons. They remember areas rich in fruits or minerals and return year after year. When rivers dry up, elephants use their tusks and trunks to dig for underground water. This problem-solving ability shows just how well they know their environment. Unfortunately, their need for food and space sometimes brings them into conflict with people. When elephants raid farms and destroy crops, farmers may retaliate, leading to tragic consequences. That's why it's essential to promote awareness, build elephant-friendly fences, and create dedicated wildlife corridors. These efforts can help people and elephants live peacefully side by side. Elephants also have one of the most advanced communication systems in the animal world. They use a mix of vocal sounds, body language, touch, and scent to express themselves. One of their most fascinating abilities is to use infrasound, low-frequency rumbles that can travel several kilometers. These sounds, which are too low for human ears to hear, help elephants coordinate with distant herds, warn each other of danger, or attract mates. Scientists have identified many types of calls, like greeting rumbles and alarm trumpets. Elephants also communicate through physical contact. They touch each other with their trunks to reassure or guide, and mothers gently nudge their calves for support. Adults even twine trunks in a way that resembles a handshake. Scent plays a big part in how elephants understand each other. They can smell pheromones in urine, feces, or secretions from glands on the side of their heads. These chemical signals help them determine if someone is stressed, dominant, or ready to mate. A male in must, for example, produces a strong-smelling fluid that lets others know he's at his peak. Elephants also read visual cues. The position of the ears, trunk, or head can show if an elephant is calm, angry, or submissive. For instance, a dominant elephant might spread its ears wide and stand tall, while a submissive one lowers its head and avoids eye contact. The emotional world of elephants is incredibly rich. They play together, mourn their dead, celebrate new births, and comfort those in distress. Their social life is filled with gestures of care and bonding. Young elephants learn by watching and copying their elders, especially the matriarch. Group rituals, like bathing in dust or drinking together, help strengthen their relationships. Their empathy is so strong that they've been seen helping injured friends, staying beside the sick, and showing joy when reuniting with old companions. But in captivity, when they're deprived of social bonds, elephants often suffer emotionally. They may show repetitive behaviors like swaying or pacing, signs of psychological distress. This highlights how vital social interaction is for their well-being. In the wild, those strong bonds often make the difference between life and death. A baby survives because of its herd, and an adult copes with stress through the support of companions. That's why conserving elephant societies and their ways of communicating is not only ethical but essential for their survival. Elephants roam vast landscapes. Their home ranges can stretch over hundreds of kilometers, depending on where food and water are found. Unlike predators that defend a fixed area, elephants are nomads. They follow ancient migration routes passed down through generations. These routes are based on memory of where the waterholes are, where fruit trees grow, and where it's safe to rest. The matriarch is the memory keeper. She leads the herd across familiar paths, especially during dry seasons when survival depends on knowing where to go. Elephants are usually not territorial, unless resources are scarce or competition over mates arises. Bulls, especially in must, may become aggressive and compete for dominance. While females move together in family units, males tend to wander alone or come and go as needed. What's fascinating is that elephants often return to places they haven't seen in years. Their memory is so sharp that they can remember a specific water source decades later. And their movement isn't just important for them, it helps keep ecosystems healthy. As they travel, they disperse seeds and clear paths, shaping the land for other creatures too. But today, these migration routes are under threat. Roads, railways, fences, and farms block their paths. As elephants try to move through fields or villages, people see them as a danger, and confrontations can turn deadly. In response, some regions are building special wildlife corridors and overpasses to reconnect fragmented habitats. Technology like GPS collars is also helping scientists track elephant movements and protect vital areas. Community education, fair compensation for crop loss, and involving locals in conservation are key to reducing conflict and allowing elephants to move freely as they have for centuries. Elephants are among the most intelligent animals on Earth. Their brains are the largest of any land mammal, weighing about 5 kilograms. The structure of their brain, especially the neocortex, is very similar to humans. Elephants can plan ahead, show patience, and even recognize themselves in a mirror, a rare trait that shows self-awareness. They understand human gestures like pointing without any training. Not many animals can do that. Though not as famous for using tools as some primates, elephants have been observed using sticks to scratch themselves, plugging water holes with bark, or swatting insects with modified branches. In captivity, they've been trained to paint or solve puzzles, showing flexibility in thinking. In the wild, they can navigate complex environments, remember landmarks, and solve problems to access food or escape danger. Some elephants even cooperate to open gates or remove barriers. The phrase "an elephant never forgets" isn't just a saying, it's rooted in truth. They remember other elephants, locations and experiences from many years back. This memory helps them survive in changing environments. Their emotional depth is just as impressive. They grieve their dead, comfort each other, and show signs of joy or distress. These behaviors speak to a deep sense of empathy and emotional intelligence. All this intelligence forces us to reconsider how we treat elephants. Keeping them in captivity or using them for entertainment becomes an ethical dilemma. Thankfully, conservation is now shifting. More sanctuaries offer emotional and mental enrichment, and tourism is becoming more respectful. Awareness campaigns are helping people see elephants not as attractions, but as sentient beings with rich inner lives. Recognizing their mental and emotional complexity is not just important for their well-being, it's the foundation of long-term conservation. One of the gravest threats elephants face today is poaching, driven primarily by the illegal ivory trade. Despite international bans on ivory sales, the demand for elephant tusks remains high in certain parts of the world, particularly in Asia, where ivory is used in traditional medicines, ornaments, religious artifacts, and as a status symbol. The result has been a devastating slaughter of elephants, especially African elephants, for their ivory. Poachers use sophisticated weapons, including automatic rifles and poison-tipped arrows, often killing entire herds and leaving orphaned calves behind. In some cases, elephants are killed simply for the thrill, or for the belief that their body parts can cure diseases or bring luck. This brutal practice not only reduces elephant populations, but also traumatizes the survivors, especially in closely bonded herds, where individuals mourn the loss of their companions. The impact of poaching extends far beyond individual deaths. It disrupts social structures, especially when matriarchs or dominant bulls are killed. Matriarchs are the knowledge holders of the herd. Without them, younger elephants struggle to navigate, find water, or avoid danger. Orphaned calves, without proper care and education from elders, often grow up with behavioral abnormalities. In some regions of Africa, the widespread killing of older elephants has led to entire generations growing up without proper role models, leading to juvenile aggression and abnormal social behavior, including attacks on other animals and even humans. These consequences ripple through the ecosystem and communities. Governments and conservation organizations have made significant efforts to combat poaching, such as deploying anti-poaching units, using drone surveillance, and implementing stricter penalties for wildlife crimes. Yet corruption, weak law enforcement, and limited resources often hamper these efforts. Public awareness campaigns have been effective in reducing ivory demand in some countries, but the trade continues in black markets and through loopholes in legislation. Community-based conservation, where locals are trained and employed as wildlife stewards, has shown promising results, aligning economic benefits with elephant protection. Ultimately, the survival of elephants hinges on a combination of international cooperation, education, stricter laws, and a shift in human values toward respecting wildlife rather than exploiting it. Elephants have long been used in human entertainment and labor, from ancient war machines to modern circus performers and zoo exhibits. While elephants in captivity are often promoted as educational attractions or cultural icons, their living conditions raise serious ethical concerns. In circuses, elephants are typically subjected to harsh training methods, confined in small enclosures and deprived of their natural social and physical environments. Training often involves punishment and tools like bullhooks or electric prods to force compliance with unnatural tricks. These practices lead to chronic stress, physical ailments such as arthritis and foot infections, and psychological conditions like zoochosis, a mental disorder marked by repetitive behaviors such as swaying or head bobbing. Zoos, though less overtly abusive than circuses, also present challenges. Many zoos lack the space or environmental complexity needed to meet elephants' needs. Elephants are intelligent and social creatures that require constant stimulation, large areas to roam, and close interaction with other elephants. Captivity often separates them from their families, restricts their movement, and fails to provide meaningful mental and emotional enrichment. As a result, many captive elephants experience loneliness, obesity, infertility, and shortened lifespans compared to their wild counterparts. Breeding programs in zoos have also faced criticism for prioritizing public display over genuine conservation goals, with limited success in reintroducing captive-born elephants into the wild. In contrast, sanctuaries offer a more ethical and rehabilitative environment for elephants that have been rescued from abuse, injury, or illegal captivity. These facilities provide large, semi-wild habitats where elephants can socialize, forage, and live with greater autonomy. Sanctuaries focus on animal welfare rather than entertainment and often include veterinary care, psychological enrichment, and protection from exploitation. Some sanctuaries even facilitate reintegration into the wild, although this is rare and depends on the elephant's age, health, and background. Public awareness is shifting in favor of these ethical alternatives. Campaigns against elephant rides, ivory souvenirs, and performing animals are gaining traction globally, urging tourists and organizations to support sanctuaries over circuses or unethical zoos. Ensuring the dignity and rights of captive elephants is not only a moral imperative, but also a reflection of how society values sentient beings. Throughout history, elephants have held profound symbolic and spiritual significance in various cultures across the globe. In Hinduism, the elephant-headed deity Ganesha is one of the most revered gods, worshipped as the remover of obstacles and the patron of wisdom and success. Ganesha's image, often depicted with a gentle elephant face and a potbelly, adorns temples, homes, and places of learning throughout India and beyond. Elephants are also central to religious festivals such as Kerala's Thrissur Puram, where adorned elephants lead parades accompanied by drummers and dancers. In Buddhism, elephants symbolize patience, strength, and mental clarity. The white elephant is considered sacred, believed to be a divine messenger. According to Buddhist tradition, Queen Maya, the mother of Gautama Buddha, dreamt of a white elephant entering her womb before his birth, signifying purity and spiritual greatness. In African cultures, elephants are revered as symbols of power, wisdom, and ancestral connection. Tribes such as the Ashanti and the Zulu view elephants as manifestations of royal authority or the spirits of departed elders. Elephant imagery is carved into ceremonial masks, totems, and thrones. Their strength and endurance are admired and emulated, and traditional stories often feature elephants as wise leaders or protectors. In Chinese and Southeast Asian cultures, elephants represent luck, fertility, and longevity. The use of elephant statues at temple gates or in homes is believed to attract prosperity and ward off misfortune. Elephants also appear in literature, folklore, and art. From Aesop's fables and African oral traditions to modern novels like The Elephant Whisperer, these animals continue to inspire human imagination. Their roles in royal processions, state emblems, and even modern national symbols, such as the elephant in the Republican Party of the US, show their enduring relevance. However, cultural reverence has sometimes clashed with exploitation. Elephants used in temple ceremonies or for tourism are often overworked and mistreated, contradicting the values they symbolize. A renewed cultural consciousness is emerging that seeks to align traditional reverence with ethical treatment, urging people to protect these sacred animals in both thought and practice. Conserving elephants in the wild requires coordinated global and local action, integrating science, policy, and community engagement. Many organizations such as the World Wildlife Fund, WWF, International Elephant Foundation, and Save the Elephants have been at the forefront of efforts to protect elephant populations. Their strategies include habitat protection, anti-poaching initiatives, wildlife corridor creation, and public education campaigns. Protected areas like Kenya's Amboseli National Park and India's Nagahole National Park have become models for elephant conservation, offering safe havens where populations can recover and thrive. These parks not only provide protection from hunting and encroachment, but also enable long-term research that informs conservation planning.